To introduce Dr. Anshul Saxena, Head of Center for Emerging Business Technologies at Christ University. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Anshul Saxena to share his insights on the intersection of quantum computing and financial solutions.
Amit sir invites me. I'm lost because why I'm lost? Like I'm the most odd one out in this entire. I'm Dr. Anshul Saxena. But just to give you a background, I'm MBA in finance and then I've done my PhD in artificial intelligence. But that was more on the business forecasting. Now I forecast all these commodity prices and all those things, right? And now the connection is what I have done in quantum and what I have done in generative AI. There are a few things which I have discovered in my journey, right? And basically I am here to just share that with you, right? So this session, I can promise you, it's going to be very light. I'm not going to talk about much of the technological advantage or gains that has been made, and it's been excellently shared by all the resource person over here, right? But what I would like to request to all of you is what I'm going to discuss right now. You can actually accept it with an open mind, you can question it, but I mean, sooner or later we will see that it's going to happen. How soon or how later, we don't know. So before I start, I will just start with a very simple question over here, right? So right now Mahakumbh is going on and Adi Shiva is there, right? So can anyone tell me what is the, if we have to identify the role of Shiva in this universe, what is it actually? Destroyer, right? Or he is a kind of a yogi, right? He is the one who mediates and come up with the ideas, right? So actually, if you look at it technically, I'm sitting with a lot of yogis over here, whether it's Colonel sir or whether it's Dr. Amit, Aruna ma'am. Right, when I'm talking about yogis, you are the creator of the technologies, right? Sardar sir has just shown that what DRDO is doing in terms of, let's say, taking the nation forward, right? And when I look at myself, I shamelessly call myself, okay. Yeah. So I shamelessly call myself Bhogi in the yogi world. Why I am the Bhogi? Right. Because the wonderful technologies that you are creating, and I'm standing in that and then discussing it, right? Apart from defense, there is a wonderful use of the technologies on which you are talking about, right? So I look at business application, I look at the technology. So you might have heard what I'm at Center for Emerging Business Technologies. So there is a Center for Emerging Technologies, but I look into the business angle, right? And just a disclaimer, I am from Rajasthan, I'm Marwadi by birth. So just looking at always a business angle to it, right? So when we talk about the bhogi part of it, right? These days there is a lot of one technology has actually created lot of buzz. Can you tell me which technology I am talking about? Okay, AI in particular. So when I want to focus on something, right now the stock markets has been crashed. Nvidia, I was speaking to one of my friend in the Nvidia other day, and their stocks has gone down like anything. Sorry, DeepSeek, right? So again, that's an generative AI or large language model technology that we are talking about working on a classical computing platform, right? Now, what I am going to tell you, or what I am going to discuss is a very different aspect altogether. Now, when we talk about, before we look at all the technologies, right? These are some of the benefits that quantum that brings out, right? You can see over here, right? So when we talk about superposition, right? People see it as a cat's problem, right? Or entanglement, they see it as a Schrodinger's cat problem. I see that how your information can be processed faster. right? Then as you can see, there is quantum parallels, there is quantum interference. So all these, it can solve certain types of problem in a more faster way, right? For most of the things, classical computers are more than enough. But let's say if we want to simulate the crash of National Stock Exchange or Bombay Stock Exchange, can you imagine? Let's say just before there is you all of you had a very heavy lunch, right? So just wanted to ask one thing: how many of you invest in stocks over here? Anyone who invests in stocks, right? Now, have you looked at your portfolio in last 2-3 weeks? Right? Mine was 15 lakhs deep actually, right? And I can't reveal my entire portfolio. It was like 15 lakhs deep. Okay, so you can imagine if that particular value goes up to zero, right? How many people will be living a tension-free life because they don't have to see the stock market continuously, right? But if you need to do that kind of simulation, realistically, right? According to one of the estimate, it will take around 1,800 years to simulate that on a classical computer, right? To simulate that on a classical computer. But with the advantages which I have listed over here, we can do it within 8 to 10 hours. We can do it within 8 to 10 hours. The simulation of crashing down of the stock markets, let's say whether it's Bombay Stock Exchange and whether it's National Stock Exchange, with determining the factors why they have crashed down, right? Whether it's due to China or it's due to Russia or it's due to Canada or US. Okay. Now going forward, I would like to take your attention and when we talk about generative AI, I'm sure all of you know what is generative AI, right? And just this information reinforces that particular information, right? So when we look at generative AI, it's creating. So it's no longer, in the bogey mode, it's in the yogi mode. The technology has gone into the yogi mode, right? It's creating the images, it's creating the text, and that too, very meaningful text, right? So, whenever, let's say, people are using it in a very, very different way. My students use it to write love letter to their girlfriends or, to the younger ones. So, why I'm coming towards it, just look at and think about it, the trade bots, which might actually trade on your behalf, right? So, let's say someone who wants to be free of all the trading related decision, right? You don't want to get into the decision when to sell your stocks and when to actually buy the stocks, right? Those kinds of decisions can be, now also it can be taken by the artificial intelligence, but with the help of generating AI, that decision power has gone 10x actually, right? So when we look at it, are we looking at generative AI? So we as a human, so we are Homo sapiens, right? We are the human species, right? Now according to scientists and the abilities that has been shown by these large language models and the artificial intelligence models, we need to treat them as digital species, right? They have already, so they have all the makings of the IQ, right? They are very intelligent. What they lack is EQ, right? If you look at it, they have a thinking ability, right? They have a reasoning capability, right? Then they are very, very creative. Although they are actually, it's a crowd intelligence where they are reading our work and then giving suggestions to us only. But at the end of the day, you have one person suggesting you, and then you have all the knowledge in the world digested and then feed it to you. There is a very big difference which is there. They are quite adaptable and learn. They are very good at learning. They don't argue back with you that why you are asking me this question, that question, why you are telling me to do that work or this work, right? They are very, very efficient and ruthless in doing and executing those kinds of tasks. Right. So basically, the concept, and it's not it's not what I am proposing, it's been already proposed in Joriba in 2023, is of the artificial super intelligence, right? We have talked about, generative AI, we have talked about generic artificial intelligence, right? But with the help of the quantum computer, this gentleman is telling that you have the generative AI powered instead of the NVIDIA or let's say some other classical computer components, it's been powered by the QC setups, right? We are looking at the quantum kits and quantum accelerators, and if that comes into the picture, it can surpass human intelligence at one point of time, right? Might look scary, might look realistic also, because at some point of time in 2022, before 2022, no one has thought that computer can write a letter also intelligently. But after ChatGPT has arrived, we have seen its impact on our work and on day-to-day life, right? So when we talk about artificial super intelligence, what it brings on the table, right? There should be something that it should be able to bring on the table, right? There is an exponential processing power, right? So we are talking about surpassing the human intelligence, surpassing the human intelligence. So when we are talking about it, when we are talking about this particular technology, right, it should be near human in capabilities, right? It will not have the consciousness, but it will be equally intelligent, and it can hold on to the intelligent conversations. So any queries that you are reading or that you are writing and giving it to them, it is possible that they can give you the good answers, right? Remember the Watson, if all of you remember Watson, which was an IBM product, it was 90% of the time it was correct when it was giving advice to the doctor. 10% error margin was there. So that 10% error margin can be overcome by artificial super intelligence, which all of you are powering. When we are talking about the combined IQ of the people who are sitting over here, all of you are powering. You are powering this particular future when you are developing quantum related capabilities in your labs. And we are talking not only about the quantum computing related capabilities. When you talk about QKD, which is the lightning speed internet, when we are talking about quantum security protocols, which is now the safer way of passing on all your OTPs and all your passwords, right? So all these things are fueled by the technology which has been on which the research is currently ongoing. Right, now when we look at what can be the impact on the society and on the future job markets and on the economies as such, right? Now if you look at it, according to a very recent survey in the academic world, the number of intelligent papers, the papers which make sense, has become 10x. After ChatGPT has come into the picture, everyone is a scientist, everyone is a author, right? And that's a very scary situation. Verified information is not reaching to the people. Personalized medicine. We are talking about the bots, right? We are talking about the bots which can give you the care which is needed, right? All of you know what is the status of the healthcare, right? It's quite expensive these days, right? If you have human nurse, right, you have robotic surgery happening. Just imagine the case where you have robotic healthcare workers, right? It can actually benefit human society in the future. Right now the demographic is quite young, right? Majority of the people are above 20 years or 25 years of age. Just imagine the situation 40, 50 years down the line, when this young population become old, right? And then people are producing less number of babies these days, right? You will have older demographic at that point of time. You need those futuristic solutions, and for that personalized medicine, then you have enhanced communication, economy, right? Like one of the first victim of generative AI was ChenQ. What is ChenQ? basically it does the homework. It was the company who does the homework of all the Ivy League universities in US and UK and all. Now they can easily write, do the prompting, and they can get the solution. I'm sure those who are in the younger population over here, you might have done it for your own assignments at one or another point of time, right? Then you have new industries coming up, right? One of my students, he has been hired as associate prompt engineer in NVIDIA. I was like, now you will actually talk to the computers. Prompting is what? Talking to the computers in an intelligent way. That's the right way of asking the questions, and you will get paid for it, right? New industries, new job roles are coming into the picture. Global competitiveness, DeepSeek. We all know what it has done to the US-based companies, which is OpenAI, right? A Chinese-based company at 1/10 of the cost with the optimized solution is able to take on the global giants like Microsoft and OpenAI. And recently, now IT Ministry has come up with Indian AI foundational model plan, right? So that is where we should also focus at some point of time. There is a lot of reskilling and upskilling is needed, right? Whatever we have learned, .NET and all those things, we might need to forget at one point of time, and we should learn these new techniques and new skills, which is prompt engineering, how to work with large language models. Sometimes, we might need to treat them as our equivalent and then give them that respect and then try to ask those particular questions, which is there. Interdisciplinary roles, right? Like, this symposium has already started. I am from management and I am standing and talking to you over here, right? So that is there. Then ethical considerations. Yes, this is something which needs to be addressed, because if you look at it, the deepfakes and the kind of technology that is going into the picture these days, no one is safe, right? Your picture can be morphed. You can make to talk to Narendra Modi, that's fine, not a problem at all. But if you are made to talk to someone else, I don't know, right? So after this, what we are looking at, the applications in finance, which is my main topic, and coincidentally the last slide as well. So what we are looking at, a lot of fraud detection and risk management, right? So if you look at it, when fraud detection, logistic regression was proposed in US, Canada, and the European countries, it was okay. Their database was still in millions. Their database was in millions. Aadhaar card database, we already know. We already have 160 million of population which is there. To detect the fraud among all these kinds of databases, you need a very powerful computer. You need a very, very powerful computer, and that powerful computer should be powering the right technology, right? So that's why hence generative AI and quantum, that particular digital twins are coming into the picture. AI-powered customer service and chatbots. Now let me ask you a very simple question over here. How many of you have used Zomato or Swiggy at one point of time? How many of you have been frustrated by Zomato and Swiggy at one point of time? Right? Okay, let's forget Zomato and Swiggy, right? We just had our lunch. How many of you have traveled through Indigo and other airlines which is there? Right? And always curse them, Indigo is at least always, or 90% of it's on time. SpiceJet and all those things, right? Very classical optimization problem, right? Very, very classical optimization problem in which quantum computers are already used. That was the BMW challenge. I hope all of you remember that particular challenge. They have actually done that $1 million BMW challenge to solve the optimization problem. It's been used by Dubai Port as well, right? So those who think that it's not in action, quantum technology is in action today, right? And when you power it with technologies like generative AI, what you will get is artificial super intelligence. Smart loan and credit risk assessment. Now we always talk about the biasness in the data. We always talk about that particular biasness, right? That I am from a certain area, from a certain locality, I will not get the loan, right? And that is the assessment given by the computers. That is the assessment given by the computers because they have been hard-coded on those kinds of rules. They have been hard-coded on those kinds of rules. So what do we need? We need an artificial intelligence. We need intelligent computers, intelligent technologies who can take those kinds of decisions in smart loan and credit risk management, investment banking and wealth management. Right, now this is something which is very, very important. The most useful advice that was given to me by my father was invest in FDs. Right, when he was alive, he used to get an interest rate of something around 15%, 16%. Right, yesterday I was checking my FD. It was close to around 6% interest rate it was giving. Inflation, by the way, is hovering at 7%. So, in fact, whatever gains I am making, I am giving additional money to the banks. Right? So, can you get an assistant, your personal assistant, who can intelligently suggest you without having a human bias on where you should invest? Should you invest in lands, which is your real estate, jewelry, or stock market, where you should invest, right? So that's a wealth management problem that we are talking about. Financial modeling, one example which I have already given was, the complexity when you want to determine the cause of share market crash, right? They always tell or they always blame one or two incidents, right? Russia has attacked Ukraine, that's why Indian market has gone down, right? You are not talking about the poor performance of MSMEs in India. You are not talking about the poor performance of the PSUs in India, right? We are not getting the materials from China. Once, in 2014, we had a fight. We had a very nice fight with China at that point of time. We have not thought about the after effects. So many critical technologies have been blocked by them. Right? Rare earth minerals have been blocked by them. Right? Then, these are few of the others technologies that we are talking about, right? Are you a safe driver? How many of you are a safe driver over here? No accidents in the entire life, right? So your premium ideally should be less, right? Let's say if I have actually taken my accident so 2-3 times, I'm just looking, I have not done that. Don't report it to the police, please. Right, I should be paying more premium, right? Than the gentleman sitting over here who is claiming he has not done any accident till in his life. Right? I should be paying 15,000, he should be paying close to around 7,000 or 8,000. Why he should pay more? Sorry. Yes. So that's why insurance underwriting and claim processing is very, very important. Personalized banking and financial services, we have talked a bit about it. Cyber security, right? Now, the moment the quantum cryptography has been announced or it arrived in the market, the first person to lose its sleep was HSBC, right? Because they are still operating on RSA and they are still operating on the, let's say, decades-old encryption system, right? What we are working on and we are claiming, if it happens, right, before you request for any kind of OTP, it will reach to my computer, and instead of withdrawing 1 lakh rupees, I can withdraw 10 lakh rupees if it's there in your account, right? So that's why the technology that we are working upon is very, very important. And then regulatory compliance and anti-money laundering. So this is something which is very, very important from defense point of view as well, right? We should not fund the terrorists, and those funds which is actually under Hawala and other kinds of sources, we should be able to successfully trace it. And for that, we need super intelligent systems, super fast systems, and quantum is one of it. So insurance pricing and risk predictions, we have already talked about it. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Anshul Saxena, for that enlightening explanations. Now, I would request Shri Amit Srivastav, Scientist E, C-DAC Pune, to kindly felicitate Dr. Anshul Saxena.